Hi. So today's video is going to be an unboxing of my Jinhao 82. I got mine in the Morandi Lake. I think that's what it's called. But it's this beautiful pink and blue pen. Is this style. So the packaging it came in is very minimal, which I appreciate a lot, especially because it makes sense with the price point. This is like $9 or $10 plus whatever sales tax your state applies, or if you're outside the United States, then I think it should be 10 euros, not more than that. So yeah, this is what it came in. No box like the Kakuno or anything. No cartridges, but the main thing, it comes in with a converter, which most pens at this price point don't, which is like the main thing because usually converters can cost an extra $7 to $8 depending on the converter. I got mine in fine nib. I felt like it would match the best. And also, I'll be honest, the main thing was because the fine nib was the cheapest on Amazon at the time. And I have known that I do like fine nib. Originally, I was thinking of getting the fude nib, but the fude nib for some reason was double the cost. It was like $18. It shouldn't be that much. I'm not sure why it was almost twice, but yeah. So I got this colorway because it reminded me of Princess Odette from the Swan Lake. You know, her dress. I'll put a image here of what exactly I'm picturing, but yeah, I was picturing the white swan. And the ink I'm going to pair with it today is the Iroshizuku Kiri-same ink. I think this one they have pulled out of production and they're going to stop making it. The reason I picked this ink is because it is like a darker grayish black with some red undertones, which reminds me of the black swan. So this is like the white swan and then the ink is black swan. Yeah, I put that much thought in my ink and fountain pen combination, okay? Let's look at the fountain pen. So this is quite small, I would say. It's not a mini or a, well, usually like a travel size. It's not the size of a Kaweco. I'll compare it later on. And I also have a Sailor Pro Gallier Slim to compare it with. So here's the nib. Let's look at a close-up of it. It has really nice, pretty scroll work all around, which does remind me of Sailor. Like the first Sailor before they started cutting costs. Now their nib has like a very basic stamping. Yeah, it's a two-toned nib, which you only get with Sailor when you buy their 21 karat gold nibs. You don't get them with their 14 carats or their smaller pens. If you want a dual toned nib on a Sailor, you have to get their 21 karat nibs. But here's what it looks like. Let me open it up. It's kind of okay. Yeah, there we go. To really go for it. But here's the converter. It comes with it. It's already in there. It's a piston filler. And all of the details, like the gold details, are quite beautiful. They don't look cheap or plasticky. It is all plastic. It just doesn't look cheap, which I appreciate, obviously. So let's ink her up. Or, okay, let's compare her to my Kaweco, the size and weight and all of that. Okay, here's my Kaweco Sport for size comparison. And then I also have another mini, the Moonman. demonstrator pen. So here's all size comparisons. I have to hold this down because it will roll away. But clearly this one's a little bigger. It's not a mini. But I will show like a normal regular size pen for comparison. Here's my Kakuno. I think it's also a pen that most people have. So the Kakuno is slightly bigger and a little bit chunky, but I think the middle mostly matches the middle width. It's just it tapers on the edges to match the sailor design. And then here is my Sailor Progress Slim. I haven't taken it out because I want to do an unboxing video, so look out for that. But here is the comparison, and yeah, they're pretty comparable. And weight-wise as well, the Sailor might be a tad heavier, like it's minimal. But overall, they just basically, the design looks the same. Unless you have an eye for it and really, really know your pens well, it's hard to tell which is which. Because Sailor, I look, does have color combinations like this one, like exactly like this one. I don't remember exactly which it was, but yeah. Here's a regular size pen. This is the, I would say the medium size, and then a small on the go pen. There's a size difference. Okay, let's ink her up. Ooh. Like you can see some of the reddish undertones in the bottle. But yeah, I always shake my bottle up. You don't need to, but I try to. You need to when it's a shimmer ink, but this one's a regular, just a flat ink. So I will be doing some swatches. Obviously, there will be a writing sample, but I will do a swatch of the ink on my Tomoe River because it's the best paper to show a fountain pen ink properties. So the red undertones aren't as visible on my swatch, but I'll put a photo of the swatch I found on Mountain of Inks. I love that blog so much. I always go on that blog to look at all the ink swatches, and then I make my decision of what ink to buy, if I want it, if I have something similar. Her blog is a time and money saver. And also just a wealth of knowledge. She's been doing that blog for, I think, about 10 years, maybe more. I found a post that was dated to 2016, so it's been there at least since 2016. And she still updates it. I saw last post that was August 12th, 2025. Today's the 13th, so you know, yesterday. Okay, anyway, that was my little love letter to Mountain of Ink website. Here's the swatch done of Kiri-same. Let's fill her up. Okay, I'm going to fill it up only about a quarter or halfway because I want to see how it writes first, if this ink performs well with this particular pen. And then if it does, I'll fill her up more. Or, I mean, maybe I'll change the ink. You know, I like to experiment with inks. Okay. And I always post my pens. I hate it when I can't post my pens because I don't want to lose my cap. The only pen in my collection that I can't post is my Bennu Skulls and Roses one, just because of the design. But this one posts really well. It stays on it. And here's how big it looks. Here's a A5. This book is A5, just for size comparison. So let's do a writing sample. This is the Jinhao 82 morandi Lake. Fine one. Ink is violet. Super. It's writing quite well. There's no feedback like there is with Sailor, but Sailor's feedback is quite pleasant, at least to me. But this one isn't a scratchy writer. The ink is flowing quite well. So Shizuku inks, all that I have, and I have about six, they all flow really well. I've never had a problem with it. They're easy to clean. They like fill up any pen beautifully. They flow great. They usually have, their flow is usually on the wetter side. Like I haven't found a single Iroshizuku ink that's dry. So there's that. Okay, what should I write? I'm always stumped on what to do a writing sample with, so I chose my beautiful, spectacular Stephanie Garber edition. The book's name is Spectacular, and it sort of matches my ink as well, and it matches the vibe of my pen. I'll show you in a bit all the beautiful gray and red illustrations in the book. So I was trying to use my Muji book here to guide my hand, but I'm not used to that, and I'm also not used to blank pages. So my writing samples are a little bit awkward, but bear with me. The pen is flowing over the page, but that's to be expected with the Tomoe River. The Tomoe River papers are coated, and I think those are the smoothest papers I have seen and used. So here I'm going to move my book. First, I'm going to show you the illustrations. There's a lot of red and gray theme going on throughout the book, which is why I chose it. Let me put it aside. I don't want to get any ink on it. It's too beautiful for any instance. So I've used a couple different fine nib fountain pens. I think this is my third, because I remember I have a Kakuno for sure, because I think everyone should have one Kakuno. But I also have a Esther Brook pen, and this one is, I think, the largest width of a fine nib fountain pen that I've found. My Kakuno is smaller, and my Esterbrook is slightly larger than the Kakuno. And then this one is a little bit larger than the Esterbrook. So I'm going to do another writing sample on my Muji notebook just to see the difference in paper and how it writes on different kinds of paper, if there is a variation. So far, the Tomoe River was obviously the smoothest, but it glides just as well on the Muji. Um, my handwriting is a little bit larger for the Muji, that's why I'm skipping a line. Here I am comparing the difference between the two gray inks. They're both Iroshizuku. So on the left page, halfway through the page, I have a sample on fuyu-syogun, and the ink sample on the right page is Kiri-same. So Kiri-same has some red undertones to it, whereas fuyu-syogun is a neutral gray. It doesn't have many undertones. Now, I know line width is important for some people. Muji, I think, is 5 mm that you're seeing. My personal preference would be 7 to 8 line width difference, because my handwriting is medium to large, I would say. So if that makes a difference, I just wanted to like show you, as you can see in my writing sample, what it would look like on 5 mm. And then I also have my Midori notebook to show you. It's also a smaller one. It's the gridded A6 size, but I write down a test for when it dries, and it dries at 10 seconds. So, and now let's look at Apica. I do a full page sample for this one because so far I've only used this notebook for sample writing. I want to turn it into a notebook for packing list. So this whole journal setup is my travel journal setup, and I'm going to start using this Apica notebook for writing down what I have packed for my trip, basically. But for paper quality, it's flowing quite well. The nib works well on all papers. There's no discrepancies throughout the brands. I think it's a good quality for the price. That is the caveat. Kakuno is good quality, period, but I would say the Jinhao 82 is good quality for the price. So there's that. And now I also do a sample on the endless paper. It looks pretty much the same. I won't write another whole paragraph. I don't think anyone wants to see that. So this one, this paper, it dries a little bit slower as well because it's really smooth, same as the Tomoe River one. But yeah, that's all the samples I have of all the papers. And I would say I like the pen. Like I'm happy with what I got for what I paid. Like if I had paid more than 50, I would have been slightly disappointed. But for $10, I am quite happy. First of all, it is stunningly beautiful. It is exactly what I had in mind. Princess Odette with the black swan as the ink. So it's like a whole set that tells a story to me. Like in my head, it makes sense. I will be unboxing my sailor, so stay tuned for that. And I will be filling that up with another Iroshizuku ink. That one will be in Momiji. So keep a lookout for that. And if you were wondering about this spectacular book, I will be showing more of it in depth on my book channel. So yeah, if you like this video, please give a like, subscribe, all of that jazz. Comment. I love comments. If you don't want to like or subscribe, that's totally fine. But I love reading comments. So comment about the color of the pen, what you thought about my whole Swan Lake dialogue, anything like that, of what you thought about the ink, anything I can improve, obviously, all of it. So yeah,